I wanted to make a video about Kalista for a while now, but lately I've read so many conflicting statements about her ability that I finally had enough and investigated the matter myself. To understand her intended mechanics, we have to start with her ability description. Her passive states: attacks impale a spear in the target, which deals a small amount of true damage when removed. Kalista rips the spears out if it would kill the target. When she's full mana, she casts her active ability, which impales her current target with 6 spears. The best way to visualize her ability is to imagine that behind every unit that is being impaled by spears, there is a hidden number adding up all the potential true damage. Once that number is equal or higher to the current HP of the target, Kalista will pull the spears and the unit will die. The problem is that things start to get more complicated if we add spell crit, damage amplifiers, and multiple Kallistas. The intended rule set is supposed to be this: every spear will individually add its damage to a total number. For example, if you give Kalista a jeweled gauntlet for spell crit, then every single spear that lands will decide for itself if it's a critical strike or not. Based on this outcome, it will add either the normal true damage or the critical strike true damage. If she does 4 attacks, then maybe the first and the third were critical strikes. So it would add up something like 27, then 19, then 27, and then 19 damage again for a total of 92. Something that can lead to a bit of confusion that I should mention here is that she will pull her spears only once she has a confirmed kill. Yet for some reason, the damage number that occurs from the kill can critically strike as well. However, in most cases, this is completely pointless. The only scenario where you would want more damage than needed is because of healing from Gunblade or because the unit survived due to items like Bloodthirster or Protector's Vow that save the unit with a shield. Amplifier items like Giant Slayer or Guardbreaker work the exact same way. A unit like Swain, for example, could potentially be in Giant Slayer range during his ability, but have less than 1600 HP in his normal state. The same can happen with Guardbreaker, where the effect isn't active all the time. In these cases, every spear that arrives during a damage amplifier will have an increased effect. It's not about getting a lucky Guardbreaker proc that will magically enhance all spears for an earlier kill. Only the spears during the effect will have increased damage. Archangel also works the same way. When Kalista gains AP over time, the spears will take a snapshot of her AP when the spear arrives. So her attacks early will deal less damage compared to spears late into the fight or during overtime. This is the core concept of Kalista's ability. But now things are about to get more messy. As far as I know, the intended effect for multiple Kallistas is that every Kalista is supposed to only count her own spears. In theory, one Kalista is not supposed to be able to pull out the spears of a different Kalista. After a few tests, I've come to the conclusion that this is not the case. Running 2 Kallistas will in fact give you an advantage. Here is why. In this example, we have one Kalista with 3 Rabadons dealing 50 true damage with every spear. The second Kalista has no items and will only deal 16 true damage with every spear. When the timer hits 19 seconds, each Kalista throws exactly 15 spears into the enemy Galio. This means the strong Kalista has 750 true damage stored up and the weak one has 240. Galio at this point has 990 HP left, which is exactly the amount needed if you combine the true damage from both Kallistas. Galio gets executed and we see a true damage number of 1819. This means if 2 Kallistas attack the same target, both of them will treat all of the spears as their own. Once they recognize that the total damage of their spears can kill Galio, both of them pull the spears out. In TFT, when damage abilities happen at the same time, the numbers get added together. So the true damage number that appears is both Kallistas attempting to rend for 990 damage. This is something that is also easy to spot in the damage statistics, as both Kallistas will get credit for the true damage that was required to kill the target. In short, this means that 2 Kallistas on the same target is a very positive thing. They will add their spear damage together and none of the damage is wasted, also allowing you to get a kill faster, which is quite useful in challenger comps. This also has some other implications. Like I mentioned before, it's possible for Kalista's rend to fail due to items like Bloodthirster, which will generate shields once a unit drops below a certain HP threshold. Sometimes Kalista cannot account for these types of mechanics and the unit will survive. The interesting part about double Kalista is that that even if one Kalista pulls out the spears of a unit, the spears won't disappear if the unit survives. The second Kalista can act as a fail-safe by either overkilling the unit by double the amount needed or simply by casting her own rend with a slight delay. As long as Kalista works like this, I would heavily recommend running a double Kalista setup, preferably with double trouble, as there is no damage lost and you receive an additional fail-safe to prevent enemy units from surviving. There is a good chance this might not work anymore in future patches, but at least for patch 13.13 you can use this to your advantage. I hope you learned something and see you next time.